Alright, Trickers and Truckers, time for the penultimate episode of Review the Day with Borg. The crew discover a wrecked Borg scout ship with a single survivor, a young Borg drone. Dr. Beverly Crusher insists on treating the surviving Borg, despite the concerns of Captain Jean-Luc Picard. On Picard's orders, the drone is confined and monitored by security forces at all times, and is prevented from contacting the Borg Collective. Chief Engineer Geordi LaForge and Lieutenant Commander Data assist Crusher in bringing the Borg back to health. As they come to understand the workings of the Borg, LaForge and Data devise an idea of using the Borg drone as a weapon of mass destruction. By implanting an unsolvable geometric formula into his mind and returning him to the Collective, the formula should rapidly spread, similar to computer virus, and disable the Borg. Crusher is aghast at this suggestion, considering it equivalent to genocide, while Picard and the other crew deliberate on the ethics of this plan. Yeah, I would be debating about that too. I mean, seriously? Come on. The Borg drone initially calls himself Third of Five, but ends up referring to and understanding himself as Hugh, the name given to him by LaForge. Hugh discusses how the Borg only wish to learn about other cultures through assimilation, but LaForge counters this argument, discussing aspects of individuality that make them human and unique. In further debates, LaForge finds himself becoming a friend to Hugh and begins to doubt his previous idea. This is further complicated when Hugh shows elements of individualism. The crew now debate whether it is appropriate to sacrifice one individual to protect the majority, though Picard is still insistent on destroying the Collective. Crusher and LaForge arrange to have Guinan, who has a similar loathing for the Borg because they destroyed her homeworld, speak to Hugh. She finds Hugh not to be a mindless drone, but a confused young man, and she agrees Hugh is no longer a Borg. Guinan convinces Picard to meet with Hugh as well, and Picard comes to the same conclusion. In part, Hugh refers to himself as I instead of the Borg's collective we during their discussion. Picard abandons the proposed plan and instead offers Hugh asylum within the Federation. Yay! Hugh expresses enthusiasm on the prospect of remaining with LaForge, but ultimately refuses, recognizing that the Borg will still come looking for him. He offers to be returned to the crash site, where he will be found and re-assimilated by the Borg. Picard hopes that, once Hugh is reconnected, the sense of individualism Hugh has learned will spread throughout the Collective. Well, it's better than him being a weapon of mass destruction. LaForge accompanies Hugh to the crash site and, from a safe distance, watches the Borg recover him. Just as the Borg transport out, Hugh turns to give LaForge a parting glance. Oh, he's so sad. Well, anyway, so let's look at some production notes about this episode. Following the Borg-based two-part episode The Best of Both Worlds, the production team were having difficulty in introducing the Borg to the series due to their unstoppable nature. The story for Borg was received well by the production staff, with executive producer Rick Berman saying that he, quote, fell in love with the characterizations of Guinan, Picard, LaForge, and Hugh, which resulted in a series of 2 character scenes in the episode. Story editor Renee Echevarria wrote the script, with an uncredited assistant from executive producer Jerry Taylor. She compared the idea to the film Edward Scissorhands, saying that she felt it would become a quote, classic, and that the Borg, quote, would never be the same again. Michael Piller, who wrote The Best of Both Worlds, described Borg as having a, quote, great premise which forces Guinan and Picard to face their own prejudices. He said it was his favorite of the season. The episode was directed by Robert Lederman, with a D. This is first of the series, and the only new director during the 5th season. Lederman was also the film editor on the series, and would go on to direct the episode Force of Nature. Borg also marked the first time that Jade Chataway scored a Borg-related episode, but would continue to do so for the rest of the series and during Star Trek Voyager. Huh. The design of the Borg prosthetics as used in Borg was an evolution from those previously seen in the series. Michael Westmore's makeup team developed a removable eyepiece for Hugh, using magnets to allow the actor to remove it as required by the script. The team wanted the eyepiece to be dramatic, but decided against using a laser as this had been previously used for Locutus of Borg. Instead opted for a hologram and a series of LEDs that were powered by a battery pack built to the costume and mounted on the actor's back. The arm piece was also redeveloped. Rather than a single club piece as previously used for the Borg, it was built from a foam rubber glove with attachments. Jonathan Del Arco had no concept of what a Borg was prior to the audition. He received a script on the evening prior to meeting with the producers and felt that it gave him a decent sense of the character. Instead, Del Arco later explained that he was deliberately antisocial towards the other actors at the audition in order to get into Hugh's mindset. When he performed for the producers, someone else read the lines assigned to Picard and LaForge, and he felt like he immediately got a positive result. He received a callback and returned to audition once more. He said that his performance in Borg was driven by the memories of watching a childhood friend die, and the innocence that he felt given to his friend's memories over time. Quote, "When I first read the script, I heard his voice. That's what it sounded like, full of wonderment and confusion about everything. That, to me, was Hugh." Following his appearance in the episode, he later pitched a couple of story ideas to the producers to feature the return of Hugh. He was happy when the character later returned in the 6th-season finale/7th-season opener, Descent, which he felt was similar to his previous ideas. I definitely say so. So this is just a really darn good episode, and it's definitely another one of my favorites. So overall, I give Borg 5 warp cores out of 5. Well, join me soon for the final episode review of the day with the next phase. So, until then, live long and prosper, everybody.